As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall ye be melted in the midst thereof, and ye shall know that I the Lord have poured out my fury upon you.
The Hidden Egypt continued, continuing my series on the possibility that much of biblical history possibly happened in the Americas. If you haven't seen part 1 or 2, please go check those out for better context to this video. Ancient Egypt in America. In a restricted area of the Grand Canyon, there are pyramid caves and tunnel cities full of hieroglyphics and ancient Egyptian relics. Many people do not know about them, as this information has been suppressed by the federal government for about a century. Oddly enough, the sky over this area is restricted airspace. The area surrounding this pyramid and cave on the ground is illegal, and also treacherous to navigate. All official reports about this from the Smithsonian and elsewhere has been censored, modified, nullified, or retracted. However, this still has not stopped people from attempting to visit this part of the canyon. Many who have tried have been arrested, and some have died attempting to climb to these sacred sites over the years. It has gotten to the point where the government feels it must have armed FBI agents guarding inside the entrance to the cave that is now known as Kincaid's Cave. Kincaid's Cave was named after G.E. Kincaid, who was the first to enter the cave. After retiring from the Marines, G.E. Kincaid worked for S.A. Jordan as an archaeologist. S.A. Jordan was sent to the Grand Canyon by the Smithsonian Institute to investigate information reported by John Wesley Powell. The tunnel is presently on a cliff about 400 feet above the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon. Archaeologists estimate that the man-made cavern is about 3,000 years old. The cavern is over 500 feet long and has several cross tunnels to large chambers. This was the lowest level in the last Egyptian tunnel city that was built in the Grand Canyon. Since the time that it was constructed, archaeologists estimate the Colorado River has eroded 300 feet lower. John Wesley Powell discovered what is now called Powell's Cave. The following is a quote taken directly out of a book that Powell published. "In this canyon, great numbers of man-made caves are hollowed out. I first walked down a gorge to the left of a cliff and climbed to a bench of the cliff. There was a trail on the cliff bench that was deeply worn into the rock formation. Where the trail crossed some glutches, some steps had been cut. I could see no evidence that the trail had been traveled in a long time. I returned to our camp about 3 p.m. and the men have found more Egyptian hieroglyphs on cliff walls near the cave. We explored the cave and found this shrine and other artifacts. That evening, I sent a team member to notify the Smithsonian Institute of our discovery. We continued to survey the canyon and discovered more Egyptian tunnel cities. I estimate in my report that I think upwards of 50,000 Egyptians had inhabited the Grand Canyon at one time. Interesting to know, the Grand Canyon has many pyramid-like structures as if worn out by some kind of cataclysm. So if biblical Egypt was in the Americas and a part of it existed in the Grand Canyon, then the question is, what exactly happened? Well, the location of the Grand Canyon is part of a huge Lichtenberg figure that we see all over the world. This type of electrical scarring is the result of a high-level electrical discharge. I believe that the ruins of this location are the aftermath of some catastrophic event that took place during Armageddon. It looks like many ancient buildings in these areas may have felt the fervent heat that is mentioned in 2 Peter chapter 3. And in this verse, Jesus states that the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. So for those of you who have no idea what a Lichtenberg figure is, it's a branching electrical discharge that sometimes appears on the surface or in the interior of insulating materials. Lichtenberg figures are a natural phenomena which exhibit fractal-like properties and tree-like structures as a result of a high-level electrical discharge. There are clues to this heating event happening in Psalms 97 verse 4. "A fire goeth before him, and burneth up his enemies round about. His lightnings enlightened the world. The earth saw and trembled. The hills melted like wax at the presence of the Lord, at the presence of the Lord of the whole earth." A very fruitful thing to study in the Bible is what God's wrath looks like. The book of Hebrews basically sums up what his wrath looks like. It says in Hebrews chapter 12 verse 29, "For our God is a consuming fire." And we see evidence of this all throughout Scripture. Anytime God's patience runs thin, He brings His wrath in the form of a consuming fire. We see evidence of this in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah when He made it rain fire and brimstone. I don't think these are metaphors. I think this is being very literal. As Hebrews stated, God is a consuming fire. When He shows His wrath, it's always in the form of fire. As Psalm states, His lightnings enlighten the world, and we see evidence of this over the Grand Canyon from plain view. So why would the devil lie? The answer is very simple: to hide evidence of biblical history and to hide evidence of God's wrath. So not only has the devil lied about history, he's lied about the timelines, he's lied about geography, he also, believe it or not, lied about geology. So yeah, I found that incredibly fascinating. I'm going to be continuing this series, and I'm going to mention more biblical history in the next video. On the next video, I'm going to be talking about the real location of the Euphrates River.